Hi, this is Munson from Munson Music. We're going to talk about how you can play a song called City of New Orleans by Steve Goodman and Arlo Gutherie. And we're going to end up, if you want to play along with the recording, what you want to do is you want to go to the tuners and actually retune your guitar to E flat, B flat, G flat, D flat, A flat, and E flat. But we're just going to kind of work this lesson in standard tuning. And we're going to start off with that intro lick around a G major, the way you play G major. First finger goes to the A string on the 2nd fret, second finger on the low E string 3rd fret, and third finger on the high E string 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about putting the 3rd finger on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E string 3rd fret for the G major. And on our intro, actually, it's just a lot of the G majors. And you could kind of work that as kind of a down idea, actually kind of an 8 down idea if you're starting out. It can be kind of a cool way to do it. But a lot of times with a song like this, I like to use something called a strum pattern. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we took the G and just tried that a lot. You'd have down, down, up, down, 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 which could kind of work for your intro. And something else that I like to add to a song like this too is bass notes. And a lot of times on that first down, you can throw in a bass note for the chord. So on the G, you'd have the low E string for the bass, down, up, down, bass, down, up, down, and through the tune, you actually kind of hear what I call a country feel on a lot of the chords, where you could kind of work a root on the low E string for a bass, and then do a down up, and then do the D string for something called the 5th, and another down up, and kind of get almost like a country feel through the tune. B bass down, D bass down. What we're doing is we're playing the root of the chord and the 5th of the chord for a G note. Counted up 5 on your fingers, you had a G, A, B, C, D. So we're kind of playing a G note and a down up and then a D note and then a down up. So that might be kind of a cool way to work it too. And randomly, it can also be a cool tune to kind of work fingerstyle. If you're kind of interested in that, your thumb kind of becomes your bass player for your E string, A string, and D string. And then you could almost kind of line your fingers up. Index on the G string, middle finger on the B string, and ring finger on the high E string as kind of a division of labor. So it's the index finger's job to play the G string, middle finger's job to play the B string, ring finger's job to play the high E string. And what I think could be kind of cool through the tune is kind of a thumb, middle, index, ring, or kind of going thumb and B string or bass, B, G, E is kind of a cool arpeggio to kind of work through the tune. And especially if you kind of think on that, you could kind of do that country for your basses, kind of a bass, B, G, E, 5th, B, G, E kind of idea through the tune. That later, but I thought that'd be kind of cool to kind of talk a little bit about up front. And then from that intro on the G chord, we'll be going into our main verse progression. We start on G major, but then we go to a D major chord. We play D major. First finger goes to the G on the 2nd fret, second finger on the high E second, and third finger on the B string 3rd. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord and it sounds really happy. And on Ds in general, it can also be kind of cool to lift off the second finger and make that a D suspended second, or you can take the pinky and add it in on high E 3rd and make that a D suspended chord, kind of say some things around D chords. And from the D, we go back to G major, and then we do another G, but then we go to an E minor chord, and we play E minor. First finger goes to A on the 2nd fret, second finger on the D string 2nd fret, and if you strum all those together, that sounds an E minor chord and it sounds really sad. Now you may also want to think about adding in the third finger on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E string 3rd, making that an E minor 7 chord. And then from the E minor, we'll be going to a C major chord. We play C major. First finger goes to the B string 1st fret, the second finger on the D string 2nd, third finger on the A string 3rd, and if you kind of strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord and it sounds really happy. While you're on C's in general, it can be kind of cool to lift the first finger and make that a C major 7, or you can take the pinky and add it in on the B string 3rd and make that a C major 9 chord. Or another way to play C major 9 is to do first finger on the D string 2nd, second finger on the A string 3rd, third finger on the B string 3rd, and the pinky on the high E string 3rd. Kind of work that for your C major 9. And And then from the C, we'd be going back to our G major, and another G, and then we almost start that over again with a G, and then D, G, and another G, and then E minor, and then D, and then back to G, and another G. And if you're kind of digging on that bass down, up, down, up, on the E minor, you'd have the low E string for the bass. On the D, you'd have the D for the bass, and on the C, you'd have the A for the bass. So we tried our first verse with kind of a bass down, up, down, up. We'd have G with low E bass, D with the D bass, G with low E bass, and E minor with low E bass, C with the A bass, G with low E bass, G with low E bass, D with the D bass, G with low E bass, E minor with low E bass, D with the D bass, G with low E bass, Now if you're kind of digging on the country feel, on the G chord you'd have the low E for the bass, D for the fifth. On the D you'd have the D string, the A string, it's kind of root, down, up, fifth, down, up, root, down, up, fifth, down. On the E minor you'd have the low E to the A string, third to the fifth. And on the C chord you could do this cool little trick where you do from the third fret on the A string to the low E string, third, to kind of get that country sound. So if we tried it with kind of a country feel, we got the G with low E bass, D with the D bass, A bass, G with low E bass, D bass, G with low E bass, D bass, E minor with low E bass, A bass, C, G, 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 E minor with low E bass, A bass, D with the D bass, A bass, G with low E bass. So kind of dig on that. That'd be a cool way to do it too. Or if you're digging on that fingerstyle idea, you'd have the G, D, G, E minor, C, G, G, D, G, E minor, D, G. So that'd be kind of a cool way to work it too. And then from that verse, then we'd be going into our pre-chorus part. And on our pre-chorus, we start on the E minor chord, and then we do another E minor, and then we go to a B minor chord. Normally you do this as a second fret bar, second finger on the B string, third fret, third finger on the D string, fourth fret, and the pinky on the G string, fourth fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a B minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. Now, you may also want to think about lifting off the pinky and making that a B minor 7, or another way to play B minor 7. We'll be doing first finger on the A second, second finger on the G string second, third finger on the high E second fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that's another way you could kind of work your B minor chord. And then from the B minor, or another way to do it, we'll be doing first finger on the A second, second finger on the G string second, third finger on the B string third, pinky on the high E string third. You can work it that way if you're kind of digging on that G and the C major non-voicing. That might be kind of a cool way to work the B minor. And then we go to D major, and another D, and then we go to an A major chord. The way you play A major, first finger goes the D on the second fret, second finger on the G string second fret, and third finger on the B string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about lifting off the second finger and making that an A7 chord, or you could readjust the fingers and put the pinky on the high E string third and kind of give it a little bit more bite. And in the chorus later on, actually, you kind of hear where there's a C sharp note later on in the chorus part for that A major chord. You could do an A/C sharp, an A major with a C sharp in the bass, by kind of doing your first finger over the D, G, and B is kind of a little bar, and then third finger on the A string on the fourth fret. So you want to think about using that for the A later on. And then from the A in our pre-chorus, we go back to the E minor, and another E minor, and then we go back to B minor, and another B minor, and then we go to a D major chord, but then you kind of hear that change to a D7 chord. When we play D7, first finger goes to the B on the first fret, second finger on the G string second fret, and third finger on the high E second fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D7 chord, and it sounds really nasty. And then from the D7, we'll be going to a G major chord. And at the end, on that last G, you'll hear this cool little bass line where you may want to do 3rd fret on the low E, open A, and then 2nd fret to kind of lead into our chorus part, kind of a G, A, B. And if you're doing the bass down, up, down, you can do kind of a bass down, up, and then on the G, and hit that open A, 2nd fret on the A. So kind of a bass down, up, O, to lead into that part. So we tried our pre-chorus with basses. The E minor would have the low E for the bass, the B minor would have the A for the bass, and on the A major we'd have the A for the bass. If we were working that, the A string, 3rd, 4th fret, and A/C sharp, you'd have the A for the bass too. But through the pre-chorus, you probably want to avoid that chord. We'd have the E minor, E minor, low bass, E minor, then A bass, E minor, then A bass, E with a D bass, digging on the country feel, on the E minor, you'd have low E to the A for the 3/5. On the B minor, if you're doing the full bar, you'd have the A string to the low E string 2nd. That's kind of your right 5th. And on the A, you'd have the A string to the low E string for your 5th. So we tried that pre-chorus with a country feel. You'd have the E minor, digging on the fingerstyle, you could work it that way with kind of that E minor, B minor, D, A, E minor, B minor, D, D7, G. And then from that pre-chorus, then we'll be going into our chorus part. And on our chorus, we start on the C major, and then we go to D major, and then G major, and the G, and the E minor, C, G, and then kind of a D. And actually, here's some cool rhythm stuff there, and you may want to try and match the recording. We got a G, and then a D, and then we go to an E minor, but you'll hear this cool little bass walk down there, where you could do kind of you could stay on E minor, or you could do the low E for the bass, and then kind of go to the D string for a bass on that E minor. That's something called E minor/D. So what I'm doing is lifting off the 2nd finger to get the open D string for kind of my bass on that chord, and then right after that's when we hit that A/C sharp, kind of the A string for the bass on that chord, and then there's this cool hit to an F major chord. When we play F major, normally you do this as a 1st fret bar, 2nd finger on the G string, 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the A string, 3rd fret, and the pinky on the D string, 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an F major chord. It sounds really happy. Now, if you're just starting out, a good substitute for that can be F major 7, where you do the 1st finger on the B string, 1st fret, 2nd finger on the G string, 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the D string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds an F major 7. So you want to think about using that. If you're taking on kind of that A, or the C major non-voicings, you could kind of use something else for the A too, as sus, where you do 1st finger on the D 2nd, 2nd finger on the G 2nd, 3rd finger on the B string 3rd, and the pinky on the high E string 3rd for kind of that A. That way you kind of keep 3 and 4 down actually through that part, kind of working the E minor/D. You can lift off the 2nd, and then the A7 sus. And then for the F, you could use an F major 13. Where you do 1st finger on the G 2nd, 2nd finger on the D 3rd, 3rd finger on the B 3rd, and the pinky on the high E string 3rd, kind of where the D string to the high E string for that F hit. And then from the F, we'll be going back to our C. It's almost kind of like a halftime idea, kind of bass down, up, bass down, up. And on the F major, if you're doing the bar F, you have low E for the bass. On the F major 7, you have the D for the bass. And on the F major 13, you'd have the D for the bass. And then C, you got the A for the bass. And then you kind of back to that D. And then kind of a G at the very end of our chorus. So we tried that with a bass down, up, down, up. We'd have C with an A bass, D with a D bass, G with a Louis bass, E minor Louis bass, C with an A bass, G with Louis bass. Might want to hit the D a little early. G, D, and then E minor with the bass down. E minor slash D, and then A slash C sharp. Some of those hits we keep the same way, but on the A chord you'd have the A string to the low E string for your bass and your root fifth. On the F bar we don't really have enough time to kind of get the whole pattern in there, but normally you do the low E for the bass, A string for your fifth. On the C normally you kind of work that A string third and low E third, so you could kind of make it kind of a country feel that way and have kind of the C, D with D bass, A bass, G with low E bass, Fingerstyle idea. You got that C, D, G, E minor, C, G, D, G, D, E minor slash D, A slash C sharp, and you may want to kind of work on the A string and the B string on the A slash C sharp. Or you could even kind of get the pinky to go in on the high E. Or you could use the A chord instead of A slash C sharp. And then we'd have the F, C with kind of just a root, middle, index ring kind of idea when you hit that F, C, D, G, kind of like the E minor slash D. So it's a little weird through that chorus, kind of the C, C sharp, F, C, D, G. I kind of experiment with that with some different strings too. And then from there, then we go into kind of an intro return where we got kind of that G coming back at the end. And then from there, then we'll be going into our next verse. Now, if you know other licks around these chords too, it can be kind of cool to take all those ideas that we're talking about and kind of mix them up. Into our next pre-chorus. I was kind of using a little variation there, kind of a down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, or a bass down, up, down, bass down, up, down. Which could be kind of a cool variation of the down, down, up, down, up. So E minor, E minor. For the pre-chorus, and then from there, we'll be going into our chorus. So we have our C, D, A slash C sharp, F, C, D, G. licks around those chords too. Might want to kind of go back to that G as kind of the waiting idea, and then kind of kicking back into our verse. From there, then we're going into our pre-chorus part. Kind of working that bass lick in there. Go into our last chorus, our C, D, G. Free to take this lesson and kind of embellish it any way you want to. But that's the basics of how you can strum through City of New Orleans and kind of do some fingerstyle ideas too. So good luck!